Bexar County deputies need your help finding this man. Investigators say he's wanted on a charge of indecency with a child. Deputies are concerned 18-year-old Jair Herrera Rivera may leave the country. Now, investigators started looking for him last month after someone from West Bexar County called them. If you have any information on where he is, you can call the Bexar County Sheriff's Office, the number 210-335-6000.
Turning now to the war in Ukraine, you're looking at a live picture of the capital of Kyiv. It's been 1 month now since the Russian invasion began, but Ukrainian forces continue to fight back. And today, President Biden prepares to head to Poland.
ABC's Alex Prochet has that story.
President Biden wrapping up in Brussels today, announcing a plan to help Europe become less reliant on Russian oil by sending them more U.S. natural gas.
Together with President Biden, we will present a new chapter in our energy partnership.
The president also announcing another $1 billion in humanitarian aid for Ukraine and that the U.S. would welcome up to 100,000 refugees. And he had this warning to Vladimir Putin if Russia uses chemical weapons against Ukraine.
We would respond if he uses it. The nature of the response would depend on the nature of the use.
Pressed by ABC what that would mean.
Would that trigger a military response from NATO?
It would trigger a response in kind. Whether or not you're asking whether NATO would cross, we'd make that decision at the time.
The White House now looking to send chemical detection systems to Ukraine. And as Biden lands in Poland this morning, NATO forces are conducting military exercises along the Polish border with Belarus. In Ukraine, the country's Navy claiming victory, saying it destroyed a Russian warship.
He's losing on the ground. His economy is headed for tatters. President Putin has a big problem on his hand, and he can, at that point, when he realizes that, he can turn to negotiations. He's not there yet.
But Russia claims it's making progress, moving closer to capturing the city of Mariupol. The head of Putin's political party saying no one should have any doubts Russia is here forever. Well, and President Biden will round out his Friday meeting with members of the 82nd Airborne Division in Poland. Alex Prochet, ABC News, Washington.
In your other morning headlines, Wall Street will start off on a good note today as stocks rose Thursday on the news the U.S. jobless claims fell to their lowest level since September of 1969. On the international front, Western leaders agreed to increase military aid to Ukraine, also help calm some stock market jitters. The Dow rose 349 points to close at 34,707. Tech stocks soared on good news of chip manufacturers and Uber reaching a deal to put all New York City taxis on their app.
The Biden administration has filed a third lawsuit in Texas over voting rights. The latest challenge is over newly drawn county precincts in the tourist hub of Galveston. The Justice Department says the changes discriminate against minority voters by eliminating the only precinct where Black and Hispanic residents were in a majority. New maps approved by the county's governing board last year made white voters the majority in all precincts. The department is also suing Texas over new redistricting maps and new voting restrictions passed last year by the Republican-controlled legislature.
Former President Donald Trump has filed a federal lawsuit against Hillary Clinton and others who may have been involved with opposition research in 2016. He's accusing them of conspiring to disparage him and cripple his campaign. The lawsuit seeks at least $24 million in damages. It alleges Clinton and the Democratic National Committee fabricated a link between the Trump campaign and Russia. A federal criminal investigation into the Trump campaign's ties with Russia led to several convictions of Trump campaign associates who lied about their political efforts. The probe established Russia's interest in helping Trump in 2016 and found the Trump campaign sought to capitalize on Russia's interference in that election. Clinton has not commented on the lawsuit.
Time now, 4:36 and 46 degrees for now.